All right, guys, welcome back to the Run It Back podcast. I am your host. Alongside with me, as always, is Wes. How are you doing today, Wes?
Hi, Joy. Hi, Run It Back Nation. Quick little change in our setup
Yeah,
this week, but I don't
absolutely.
find it a problem. As a matter of fact, I think it'll make us a lot faster. We're going to find some time on the corners now, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty much we have decided to move the podcast to Sundays. That way, we're the race is gonna be fresh off the memory, and also we host another podcast called the No Decision Podcast. Check it out. But Saturdays are usually the days that fights happen, and so we just watched the Caleb Plant fight, and so it's fresh off the mind, and yeah, it's a little bit more exciting to talk about it, right away. So let's get into it, Wes. The hot laps for this week, not many, so it's gonna be a little bit of a short show tonight. But the two biggest news coming up is McLaren. They fired up the new Mercedes engine, Wes. So if you guys don't know, McLaren is kind of rising from the ashes, and with that, they used a Renault engine, right? And so this is the first time that they're gonna switch to Mercedes again. Wes, it's been 8 years, right? So it's been 8 years since McLaren has ever used another Mercedes engine. So now they're going to be McLaren, Mercedes again. This partnership has always been very fruitful. So what are your reactions, Wes?
Oh, I mean, it's a engine unit back within its rightful chassis,
Mm,
right? When it comes to McLaren, one of the terms that people bring up is McLaren Mercedes.
all right.
With the white and red, and then soon the silver and red cars with Mika and Raikkonen and Lewis, Button, Coulthard,
Right.
all those historic drivers, and that was a very productive time in McLaren's participation in the
Yeah.
championship. And I feel like, additionally, the change back to Mercedes engines came at a time where both are trending upward,
Right.
right?
Mm,
So McLaren was third in the championship for 2020,
mm,
and Mercedes is the cream of the crop when it comes to power units
right.
in Formula One today, and looks like that for the foreseeable future, unless Honda or Ferrari can do something amazing and move mountains somehow. But this is a partnership that was always supposed to be in Formula One, at least in modern times.
Mm,
And to see it back, I can already see it paying dividends for McLaren.
yeah.
We haven't even started the 2021 season yet.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's great that you pointed out, right? This Mercedes McLaren Mercedes partnership has also they also went into production with some of the McLaren F1 car. So like you know the supercar that they produced in the 1990s, powered by an AMG Mercedes, and even Mercedes gave produced a car that was called the Mercedes McLaren. So
SLR,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
beautiful looking car.
It's beautiful, beautiful, absolutely. But yeah, but it's a totally different regime, right? This McLaren is a totally different team from when Mercedes left it, right? And Ron Dennis was that guy that was everything has to be perfect, everything has to be precise. There's a policy in McLaren, clear desks, nothing should be on the desks. And now it's more like this is a team that embraced a change of culture, right? They're more fun. I think a lot of drivers want to drive for McLaren because it is a fun atmosphere, and they also start to hold each other accountable for their mistakes. It's not, um, it's more of it's we win and lose as a team now, and with that Mercedes engine, I think I said this before, right? Zach Brown said that the reason why they chose Mercedes is because they don't want to hide anymore, right? If the Mercedes engine is the best in the grid and they can't score podiums, then that means there's something wrong with McLaren team, not the Mercedes engine. So, yeah, I think. I mean, we already said, we're super excited for this McLaren Mercedes partnership to return. Uh, but yeah, I was just so excited. Quick note though, because they are coming from a Renault engine, the chassis had to be changed dramatically to just kind of fit the Mercedes engine more. And it's really up to James Key, the technical director for McLaren, to see if he wants to have a very tight knit package in the engine, or he likes to give a little bit more space for the engine that generally causes less breakdowns. But yeah, hopefully you are right, Wes, that this also becomes an upward trend for this partnership.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like it's already paying dividends, and we haven't even started the season. When you saw the video, when I saw the video, I'm sure when everyone that follows McLaren F1 team all around the world saw that video, nothing but smiles on their faces. From Zach Brown to
Yeah.
the crew to everybody that was there to watch the engine and supervise it as it was firing up and running,
Yeah.
as they were doing some stress tests to it. Everyone seemed impressed, as if this was going to be the solution to all their problems, and it might as well could be.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not to say that Renault sucked for them. That's far from the truth.
Right. Absolutely.
But what McLaren is trying to tell us is that they want to get back to the top, and they want to do it now.
Exactly. Yeah. You hit it right on the head, Wes.
But I will add, though, I say this all the time, especially when there's speculation. We don't know until we race.
We don't know until we race. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, is there any more thoughts for the McLaren Mercedes partnership to begin for the Formula One season?
I want to see that livery, and I want to see it go around the test track.
Okay, decent. You feel that there should be a hint of silver in there, right?
I would like it to be.
Okay.
I'm not going to be upset if it's not.
Yeah,
I understand that Mercedes Works has to go back to that silver too, unless they decide to go black for 2 seasons in a row.
I believe they did. I believe that was a story that was coming out, but it might just be still rumors. So yeah, we will see. But yeah, so the second biggest news for this week is that Carlos Sainz is his first running at Fiorano, and yeah, so like this is the first time we got to see Carlos Sainz in a Ferrari car. He was driving around the Ferrari car. Now, of course, it's the 2018 Ferrari car, so it's definitely not the F1 cars that we are accustomed to today. But I remember that Ferrari car had trouble with like blistering tires, but they were using the 2020 tire allocations. But yeah, Wes, how do you feel about Carlos Sainz's first running at Fiorano?
Well, it's like watching any athlete participate in a team that is not the team that you're used to seeing.
Yeah.
Right? So on our side of the pond, it was like watching Tom Brady play as a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFL, or
Favre in a Vikings jersey.
Sure. I mean, also to make it more inclusive for our audience, like think about it as like Kevin Durant on the Golden State Warriors.
All right.
Or perhaps Cristiano Ronaldo in Juventus, or
Yeah.
Neymar in Paris Saint-Germain,
Absolutely.
or even, I don't know, Timo Solani, ice hockey, playing from the last parts of his career with the Anaheim Ducks. You're just like, what in the world is going on here? but they're playing, and they're playing at a high level still.
Yeah.
And the same is being said for Carlos Sainz, right? We're so used to him in the black and yellow or the dark blue of Red Bull and Renault and Red Bull respectively.
Right.
And then the last few years, it was the papaya of McLaren, and now we see him in Ferrari red.
Yeah.
Like,
He's a
just takes some
well-traveled
getting
man.
Used to.
He's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting seeing such a high number, 55, on a Ferrari car.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's going to take some getting used to. But at the same time,
yeah,
he already looks poised
yeah.
to help Ferrari get back to where they need to be.
Yeah, he already looks the part, and funny, like you say that, like because he actually is a little bit different from like the Ferrari drivers because um, they allowed some fans at Fiorano to watch Carlos Sainz's first running, just the testing, and Carlos actually saw these group of fans. I don't know, I'm not really familiar with the Fiorano track layout, but after the test, he actually came in a fire truck and greeted the fans to and so like and the fans stated that like that was something different that no other Ferrari driver would have done, right? Like he actually went and acknowledged the fans very close, and like he wanted to take pictures with them. And Carlos Sainz is always he's this guy that likes to be, he's very in touch with his fans, and he appreciates them. And so yeah, like I think that was quite different. But yeah, is this like a culture change to Ferrari? Would you say?
I can't say that for sure.
Yeah.
I feel that that was just Carlos being Carlos, and Ferrari would be in no position to say, no, don't do that,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Because
absolutely.
it's not like he wasn't causing any harm or
Yeah,
anything that would be detrimental to the team. And of course, if Ferrari, for whatever reason, were to be very distant from the Tifosi, then obviously that would be a sign of an out of touch
yeah.
organization, but it clearly isn't.
You clear? Yeah,
So no, I don't know. I don't want to say for sure that it's a culture change,
yeah,
but it's a step in the right direction.
yeah. Absolutely, yeah. And obviously, like this type of culture he brought with him from McLaren, and so yeah, like the two biggest rivals in Formula One, McLaren and Ferrari, you know, always sharing the headlines at times. Not as much as McLaren or Ferrari nowadays, but still, it still has that effect. But yeah, let's get to the honorable mention today, Wes. Sebastian Vettel actually was seen in Silverstone, right? In Silverstone, in the headquarters for Aston Martin Racing Team, and he was seat fitting, right? So he was fitting for like his seat for Formula One for this upcoming season, and a lot of fans were surprised to see that Vettel has lost a little bit of his head um, over the transition. Any reactions, Wes? Any thoughts?
Oh, well, to give the fans better context, no, Sebastian Vettel did not lose a part of his head. It seems as if his hairline has changed a little bit to where it looks like his thick head of hair is nowhere to be found.
Mm,
So let's just say he has a buzz cut, but with a very short top.
right.
And of course, the photos have already circulated, and
Yeah.
so it's not a surprise anymore.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder how often Sebastian changes his hair and what his motive is into going certain hairstyles. So of course, back in 2018, he had the straight cut,
Yeah.
uh, what was supposed to be a fade, but that was not a fade.
There was no fade on it. There was just a cut.
Uh, and then, of course, in 2019, 2020, his hair looked more normal,
Yeah.
rather. Not the long and wavy that he had when he was at Red Bull, but
Red
more of
Bull.
a mature
Yeah.
professional man. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden, he has the receding
Hairline.
hairline at Aston Martin. Uh, and that wasn't the only thing that was receding. It was kind of weird seeing his helmet without all the stickers on it, too.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely. And yeah. And what's strange is that a lot of people, of course, said like, well, this is just natural, right? He has male bald pattern. I think that's what they call it. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna have it too. But like, the surprising thing is that like when they bring up his age, right? He's only 33. And so I think that's what surprised people the most, right? He's younger than Lewis
Sure.
Hamilton, yet he's and then all the memes pop up like, oh, this is what happened when
This is
you
what
drive for
happens. Yeah.
Ferrari.
Exactly. Yes.
But yeah,
Um, I don't know. A part of me feels like joy that he cuts his own hair in some way, shape, or form. And this rendition went completely wrong, and
completely wrong. I mean,
he was trying his best to kind of play it off. I mean, of course, I don't know for sure.
yeah,
This is just a allegation that
yeah,
I have, but I don't know. It's quite viral, I will say.
absolutely.
Sebastian Vettel's new haircut.
I mean, Seb, bald is beautiful, so you might as well just go for it. And there's no, there's I don't know. This isn't me, but like, there's no point in keeping the sides. So
Well, or he could just what he could do if you say bald is beautiful, Joy. And I wonder if the fans will agree. Watch all the episodes of The Last Dance. Be bald. Be mad at Ferrari. Take it personally, and then beat them.
right, there you go.
You don't have to beat Lewis per se.
Per se, right? You could actually,
Wink, wink.
you could
Wink,
actually,
wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Just get on the podium and be ahead of Ferrari.
right? Exactly. There you go. You could even call Hamilton for a little bit of advice about hair keeping, but okay.
I don't know.
It seems like it's too far gone, but we're over that. But okay, cool. So moving on. Wes, I was, I love to listen to podcasts. I don't necessarily listen to podcasts, regarding Formula One or like boxing or anything that we cover. That's sports. I usually like to listen to a podcast that's for like movies because I do love movies and theater. But in one of the podcasts that I listened to, there was this question that what is the next? What is it was regarding cancel culture, and they said that what is the next thing? They asked one of the guys in the podcast saying, "What is the next thing to be canceled?" And he brought up a very interesting question. I mean, a very interesting answer, and he said that petrol-powered cars are going to be the next to be canceled, or like companies that produce petrol powered cars. What is your thoughts, Wes? I'm dying to know.
First off, what the hell? What continent are you in? We don't say petrol here, man. We say gasoline.
Gasoline. We get gasoline.
So, okay, for all my European listeners, okay, fine, we can accept petrol.
Petrol.
Or
Petroleum.
In Philippines, gasolina is fine. But nah, man, for me to hear Jared in where we live say petrol, man, nah.
I think
This
it was
is
just
gas.
I think it was just the Top Gear in me when they love you saying petrol. So I was
You
like,
and your brother, I think, have a literal VPN on you because one time one of you texted me the word tire in TYRE spelling.
I mean, I'm a well-traveled guy, so
Horse crap. In the Philippines, we don't spell tires like that.
and
Anyway,
go ahead.
or in America for that matter,
Right.
we spell it TIRE. But okay, so I don't prolong this podcast for no reason, with irrelevant fillers. But to answer your question, Joy, I would say yes and no.
Yeah.
So I would agree with that guy, but with some reservations, or person, I should say.
All right.
I don't know if you mentioned if that was a guy or a girl.
He was he was a guest.
Okay, well then, then I would agree with him with some reservations. So,
Right.
I would say with family cars and commercial vehicles, I could see it being more electric or some kind of green energy, right? But for the sake of our podcast, for racing, I cannot see, for example, Formula One.
Yeah.
I could see them taking on an alternative fuel source that would be better for the environment than traditional
Yeah.
gasoline.
Yeah.
But I can't see them, trying to be like Formula E plus or something like that,
Yeah.
right? But I can see the electric movement or
Yeah.
green movement in cars for passenger and commercial vehicles. And I myself would love to have a hybrid car one day in my
Yeah.
personal garage.
Yeah.
But of course, right now, because there hasn't been enough ownership yet, you can't really put the price to where it is quite incentivizing
Yeah.
for buyers. But um, it's possible that gas cars can no longer be around, but only for a certain type of car. That's the
Yeah.
short form of what I'm trying to get at here.
Okay. Okay. And I know we've spoken about this before, and we also brought up the point that I also I agree to a certain degree. That sounds weird, but yeah, like, well, I had to bring up some statistics for this one, right, to see if it's even possible to cancel just gas powered cars, right? Like, because when you say cancel, it's pretty much you kind of just boycott them and like you stop using them altogether. And the U.S. alone, right, uses 390 million gallons per day of gasoline, right? Just that's per day. That which is insane. That also comes by the U.S. Energy Information Administration. By the way, you could check them out. But like, in hindsight, Wes, like, our cars carry an average of 12 gallons of fuel, right? And you get mileage depending on what type of vehicle you are, what type of engine do you have, and like, we brought up the idea that it's not just gonna be a cultural change if you cancel gasoline, gas powered cars. You're gonna change infrastructure as well, right?
Sure.
Because you're gonna change pretty much these gas stations. They're probably gonna be no longer existing. You're probably just gonna have charge stations at like your local grocery store. They have one, some right now, and like, yeah, and like, it's not easy just to set up these power lines. Now, of course, you could use solar panels to power some of these stations, but you're gonna need a lot of solar power. You're gonna need to transfer a lot of solar power into reusable energy, which we still don't have the technology for. We don't actually use we don't convert all of the solar energy into reusable power for our cars. But yeah, like, it's strange, right? Like, I do think that we are heading to this electric, um, kind of age or regime, into cars. I don't think is as soon as you think, right? Because we rely so much on gasoline, and it is pretty much the point of topic whenever there's a politician that's coming up, or there's a certain debate in Congress or anything like that. But yeah, like, I don't know, Wes. Like, I I, I don't think they're gonna get canceled per se. Um, but I don't think that gas is the future. However, I do think they're gonna stick around for a lot longer than you think. Um, and so yeah, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much just like what I think, right? Like, there's just still so many things to work on when you're transitioning from gas to fully electric. And fun fact, Wes, I also thought, like, I researched this, and uh, there is a reason why a lot of mechanics, like local mechanics, Wes, that don't even want to touch electric cars. And part of the reason why is because they're not probably fully certified to work on electric cars. But fun fact, I didn't even know this. But they don't want to touch electric cars because the voltage running through electric cars is like 30 times the voltage you would get from a car battery, which it makes sense, of course. But fun fact, like if there is like a Tesla car or any of these all electric cars that crash, if you see one that crashes, proceed with caution because the voltage could be running through the car's body. I'm not saying that electric cars aren't safe, but it's something that we haven't really spoken about, right? Like in terms of safety, because if electric cars are going to be the future, we should let everyone know that, like, look, like if you're going to try to save someone by opening the door, like be careful, because 340 volts is not something you could brush off. And so yeah, like it was just fun, just like researching this, like a lot of things that I didn't even know about when it comes to electric cars nowadays. Now, of course, technology is probably going to move on and make it a lot more safer, but still, So, yeah, those are kind of just, yeah, there was a lot that I researched, and like, yeah, it was very a passionate moment for me.
Well, sure. And, I will say, though, I mean, small shops wouldn't work on those anyway because
Yeah.
Tesla wouldn't let you.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of...
It's like Apple.
Just for the sake of example, Tesla wouldn't let you. Same with if you were to crash the car. I haven't heard any cases of someone or like a rescue team getting hurt trying to rescue a driver that was injured driving a Tesla.
Right.
But generally, when you total a Tesla, they make you purchase a new one, even if it's repairable.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. Well,
hold on. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, it's gonna come a long way, I would hope, given that what every car company and every government regime says. It's 2021. Okay, fine. You have 29 years to get it right.
Right.
Because everyone wants to be 100% carbon free by 2050.
Right.
80% by 2030. So yeah, you have 29 years to get it right, and I think that's ample time. And
that is.
For me, as we talk today, that issue can go either way. So that's why I say, again, I agree with reservations, because there's a good chance that that person could be right.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
But like I said, I just can't see it in the racing world for the sake of our show. But I can see it in our daily lives as, regular people.
Yeah. It's good that you brought up racing, because usually the engines in motor racing are a lot more fuel efficient than the cars that we actually drive from day to day. Now, of course, like the gas guzzling V8s that that are at, I think NASCAR still uses V8s, right, or V6s, but they're still pretty much they eat a lot of gas. But like when you go over to of course Formula One, kind of biased, but the Formula One cars, the engines are a lot smaller, but they produce so much power, and a lot of people don't actually know that, but they're a lot more efficient than the cars that we're driving. So I think that was a cool, fun fact. But yeah, I mean, everything that we have to do is gonna have to be tied into motor racing, because motor racing kind of pushes the technology for whatever the next generation of cars are that we use, right? So.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and of course, there's a reason why it's more efficient, right? Because they're constantly going fast.
Absolutely, yeah.
Unlike us driving in the city or
stop and
in
go
rural areas, we necessarily don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So that's why efficiency is such a premium in that sector of cars. But I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see the growth of the technology, and with renewable energy, it's already starting to take place in homes.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Homes have solar panels, and actually, those people are saving money on their energy bills. But
Yeah.
that's a different conversation for another day.
Yeah.
We don't want to. We at the end of the day, this is a Formula One podcast, and of course that doesn't for me that just doesn't apply to Formula One.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much all the show that we have for tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening. Like I said, we will be back on Sunday, every Sundays from now on, and we will be sure to let you guys know whenever there's a schedule change. But yeah, pretty much, this is pretty much the best time. Sundays for us, it's everything's gonna be fresh off the mind, fresh off the box. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you, everyone. Keep it on track.